Theo Dorsey here at Miami Heat Media Day, joined now by head coach Erik Spoelstra, entering year 17.
18.
18,
Yeah.
longest tenured coach in the NBA right now with your team. And as you correct me right there, that's a full, like, your coaching career is now, legal to go buy a cigarette in the grocery store. How are you feeling coming into year 18 now?
Thanks for making me feel old.
It's a good thing. It's a good
Yeah,
thing.
I feel great. I feel invigorated. I love this profession of coaching. I love being part of teams. I love being part of teams that hopefully can create something magical. The whole process of it, it's been invigorating. And I'm just grateful that I'm able to be in this profession, working for this organization, and have another crack at it this year.
You have such a storied rise to where you are now, and it's funny because when I look at this generation of the NBA, I feel like there's three coaches that have defined it. It's Steve Kerr, Gregg Popovich, and now yourself. Is it going to be weird coaching in an NBA where Greg is no longer on that bench coaching for the San Antonio Spurs?
It will be, and it is strange. He just became so accustomed, to seeing him on the sidelines in San Antonio. I know he'll still be involved with the organization, but we'll miss him. We all looked up to him. Even though we were peers in the games, it was hard not to look up to him. I view him the same way as I view Pat. Like, he's one of those iconic coaching figures.
With a guy like him, he coached into his like years, 75 years old, and he did it for so long with the Spurs, and you can do that when you're with a good organization. When you look at your own journey here with the Miami Heat, how long do you consider yourself a person that you love the thrill of being on the bench and continue to coach from that side of things?
Man, those conversations aren't already happening, are they?
No, no, no. I'm not.
I hope I do this for a long time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I feel young. I feel invigorated. I know there was, and I really appreciate Pat for saying that after the season, what he said, but I was not burnt out. I was embarrassed by what happened in the playoffs, but I was not burnt out by any stretch of the imagination. I love what I do. I love everything about this profession. And the summer was great. I was able to spend so much time with the family and travel and also see our players overseas and put together a plan, for this season. I'm really looking forward to it. For this season and the challenge. It definitely feels like this is a new chapter. We turned the page. It felt appropriate, and I think we're all looking forward to the possibilities.
What was the travel like? Because this summer was big for me too. I know you don't really care as much, but my first time going to Europe, my favorite place was Florence. We spent a week there. It was amazing. The food, the drinks, the walkability of the city. What was your favorite place to go and venture off to this offseason?
Well, if I just talk about that trip, I went to Rome to see Simone and learned how to order a 5-course meal in Italy, with the pasta and the fish, and he picked out a nice bottle of wine. So that was a lot of fun. I'd never been to Stockholm. I'd never been to Belgrade. Stockholm was really fun with Pella's family. And I never spent time with them. Over here, just everything happened so fast last year. And Nico, that was fun being in Belgrade. That's such a basketball crazed place. Seeing him in that environment, with the pressure and expectations of that team, the Serbia team was fun. And all three were able to see me in a different way. I wasn't a head coach going over there. I was just there to break bread and hopefully hear some funny stories about when they were kids.
That's what I was about to. I'm wondering because how do you turn that off? I'm sure it's good and comforting to be able to turn that off and just be one of the guys and enjoy things with them. But how do you turn that switch off when you're probably watching basketball thinking, I want to do that differently. I want him to, slide over something. How do you turn it off?
That was easy. I had no problem doing that over there and letting them pick out the wine or the spirits or anything like that. I enjoyed not having the pressure of having to make decisions. I just wanted to go over there and support them and be a friend and have a different relationship than the head coach to a player.
You thrive in competition. You love challenges. Do you look at this season, as you say, you turn the chapter, new look, you're bringing in some new faces. Obviously, Jimmy Butler's departure and not having him here at training camp is going to be a lot different and whatnot. Are you just excited for this new challenge and what you're able to do with this new chapter of the Heat?
Yes, and there's an unknown to the season. I mentioned that in my presser, and that doesn't have to be a negative thing. I think it's a really exciting thing when you see great possibilities, which I do in this team. And I want to leave an open space for guys to grow into that and hopefully impact winning in a big way. And then ultimately, collectively, we do something greater than our individual parts, and that's the whole deal.
Just saw Tyler Hero behind us roll in here, and we know that he's likely going to be sidelined for the first 8 to 10 weeks. Talked about a new beginning and having a hole opened up that you're going to have to fill the gaps on. Who do you feel like might lean in? You might lean in on trying to fill his scoring hole. And I know you made a big acquisition this offseason, Norman Powell, who could be a good candidate for it.
Yeah, we have a bunch of guys that we think can step up, and it is unfortunate, that Tyler would be out at the beginning. I'm just grateful that he's not out, for a long period of time. And when we get him back, that's going to be a great offensive punch that he gives us. But we're very fortunate to be able to acquire Norm, at his best offensive season last year. And I think the way he does it on and off the ball is really important. Bam will continue to be super important for us, and he's setting himself up to have a great season. Wiggs feels so much more comfortable here, after a summer and moving his family out here. He's in great shape. Davion Mitchell, and then our young players with this space that I'm talking about, like jumping. Nico, maybe that's Pella. I don't know who it's going to be, or collectively Jaime. All these guys have had great summers, and that's part of the unknown that I think is exciting.
That's a lot of names you dropped, and there's a limited amount of minutes, obviously, in an NBA game for these guys to play. But I'm curious more so with the big man rotation that you'll be able to work with this year, with Khalil Ware coming into year 2. Obviously, Bam Adebayo is the mainstay. You bring back Precious Achiuwa and whatnot. Like, how excited are you to figure out that side of things? And I also think about a guy who we know and love in South Florida, and Vlad Golden, who's excited to kind of cut his teeth at this level.
Yeah, you need the versatility with your front court now. The game is shifting a little bit as well, where you have to be able to handle a lot of different styles of play, not only just in the course of a season or playoffs, but night to night basis, where teams go super small. You have to have that versatility, speed, quickness, space. Teams are going bigs, double bigs and big front line, big guards, where you have to have that kind of physicality. And size and girth sometimes, for a 6-8 minute period of a game. Khalil is setting himself up, after a really productive summer to have an important role. He'll have to continue to grow and improve. Vlad, who you mentioned, gives us that size and girth and physicality in short stints, potentially. And then Bam always gives you that versatility. We think Precious, bringing him back with he's got a different perspective now, and he's a little bit older. I think that versatility will help. And Nico, I think you plug and play him in a lot of different ways. The 4, the 3s, maybe sometimes a small ball 5. He has that kind of versatility. All those guys will be important.
Is Vlad going to kind of show you guys around at FAU this next week? I mean, I know y'all have done the camp there, but obviously he knows all the intricacies of Boca Raton.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We know our way around up there too, but I think it'll be fun for him. And that was a great team. That he was a part of that Final Four team. That was a lot of fun. It was must-see TV. We were all watching. That'll be a nice little twist to the camp.
For you as a head coach in this spot, I know that the people look at the East as wide open, and there's all these wide arching narratives of where the NBA stands here today and whatnot. But it feels like a bit of a blank canvas. And I look at a guy like Bam Adebayo as that person who, I mean, it does help when you're hanging out with a 4-time MVP all the time with Bam, but then also that person who's looking to take that next step. What are some of those things that you've expected from him this offseason and also are going to lean on him to do now that he is that guy that's the mainstay, the veteran leader, and likely going to be somebody you might need a little bit more offense out of this year?
Yeah, he'll be asked to do a lot. Like I said, when he's setting himself up to have a great season, and he's prepared, he's in shape. He'll have the ball in his hands, quite a bit. But I think the biggest step will be that mentorship piece. He's already been a captain. He's already been our leader. He's been our emotional leader. And now to really, move the locker room of impressionable young guys, it's that mentorship piece. And it requires great vulnerability, humility, which he has, where you're not putting yourself above, but you're really with the guys in the trenches. And that's what I think can move the player development the most, is that kind of mentorship, not only from Bam, but from myself, from Norm, from Wiggs, even Tyler.
And I know you look at yourself as somebody who is actively always learning and picking up things. I love the story that people like to tell of you learning the spread offense from football and kind of taking that and using it in the heyday of the Big Three and whatnot. have there been other avenues or areas in which you've soaked up some stuff, even with your trip overseas and
Yeah,
whatnot?
for sure. And I'm not telling you.
I was about to.
Yeah, no way. That's where I've become wiser.
Yeah.
So nothing gets out. But look, there's no like magical secret. But you better evolve. Otherwise, you get left behind. And the game continues to change as we're seeing. Right now, and the playoffs last year, it's a different game than it was 5-6 years ago. And some of them are subtle, some of them are bigger, but you better stay ahead of the curve.
And then lastly, I just want to ask you specifically with Tyler Hero for you, what's a situation similar to his that you've coached somebody through where they have to wait to then get played into the rotation because he's coming off of the injury? And then how are y'all going to be able to keep him around, keep the vibes high, and keep him ready to go for when he is able to re-enter the lineup?
Yeah, like I said, it's not so many months that he'll be out. He'll be around, and I think that'll be a good part of his development too. Is finding a different way to impact than just in the game and with his scoring and playmaking and offense. Can you impact a young locker room with mentorship, with leadership, with consistency every single day? Um, you know, Everything matters. And Tyler's about all that stuff, and he's able to do it when he plays. Now, can you do it, when you're not playing? And I think he's built for that.
Appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of media day. And also, I will say the wine of choice that I loved out in Florence, Chianti Classico. So
Chianti Classico.
if you go back, ask for that one. Tell them I sent you.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Thanks, guys.
All right.